Good evening. Victims of the former Metropolitan Police officer Wayne Couzens, who's been sentenced for 3 offences of indecent exposure, have said he could have been stopped before murdering Sarah Everard. Couzens was given a 19-month sentence for exposing himself, including for one crime that was reported to police just days before he kidnapped, raped and murdered Sarah Everard. The Met has apologised for not arresting Couzens, and the judge at the Old Bailey said failures to investigate him had added to his belief that he could sexually dominate and abuse women without being stopped. Our special correspondent Lucy Manning reports.
Wayne Couzens in his car, number plate clearly visible, pulling up at a drive-through McDonald's in Kent and exposing himself to staff, not the first time. This 4 days before he kidnapped Sarah Everard. The police were called the next day, the number plate given. If they'd have checked, they would have known he was a sex-offending police officer. It's not an exaggeration to say what happened and then didn't happen at the McDonald's in Kent days before he kidnapped Sarah Everard could and should have prevented her murder.
The fact that no police came to find him or his black car to question him about these incidents can only have served to confirm and strengthen in the defendant's mind a dangerous belief in his invincibility, in his power sexually to dominate and abuse women without being stopped.
Do you know Sarah?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know where Sarah is?
No.
Right.
Couzens was arrested a week after Sarah disappeared, but he should have already been in handcuffs. Police removed his black car from his house after the murder. It was the same one that had been reported to the Met Police days before. Today, the former Met Police officer, who is already serving life in prison, sentenced for 3 indecent exposures. 2 were at the McDonald's in Kent in the weeks and days before Sarah's murder, leaving staff traumatised. He was also sentenced for performing a sex act as a female cyclist went past on a narrow country lane. He was naked, on duty. It was 4 months before Sarah was killed. The victim also reported him. In court, his victim spoke about the failures. The cyclist said, "There were opportunities to identify you, and they were not taken. I did not feel that when I reported your crime, it was taken as seriously as I felt that it should have been. The horror of what happened will remain with me for the rest of my life." The McDonald's worker broke down in tears as she spoke about Sarah Everard. "I was scared. I felt like that could have been me. I still think about this now. I had no one contact me or ask for a statement. It was only after Sarah's murder that I became involved. If he had been held accountable when we had reported the crime, we could have saved Sarah."
The what might have beens hang heavily here. If only his sexual offences had been properly investigated in the years before Sarah's murder, in the days before. Now it's too late, because indecent exposure wasn't and still isn't taken seriously enough.
Kent Police and the Met Police now have investigations into their own failures to uncover Couzens' sex offences.
Like many, I wish that Wayne Couzens had been arrested for these offences before he went on to rape and murder Sarah Everard. And for that, I'm sorry.
Do you accept there were missed opportunities to stop Wayne Couzens?
I do accept there are missed opportunities.
And have you apologised to Sarah Everard's family?
And I am sorry for the Sarah Everard family. I can't pretend to put myself in their shoes. I can't imagine what must be going through their minds today.
Sarah was just walking home. It's now clear Couzens shouldn't have been out on the streets.
And Lucy is here with me. Clear missed opportunities by the police. Lucy, is anything likely to change as a result of what's happened?
I mean, you want to say yes. You hope that they have learnt from Couzens, from David Carrick, the rapist policeman. I mean, the words of apology are genuine. The desire to change, I think, is genuine. There are enough inquiries and reviews that you hope they learn from them. The Angiolini inquiry, which is independent, looking at both those officers and how they ended up as police officers. You have the Casey report looking at the Met's internal misconduct, and obviously a Met officer and a Kent officer being investigated over these failures that we've just talked about. But then you learn that the Met officer has already resigned, so nothing can happen to them. You learn that Carrick's offending started in 2015 when Kent police ignored a number plate that was given to them when he exposed himself. So this is years and years of inaction. And then you hear more stories of sexual assaults, of indecent exposures where the police have been slow, disinterested. And you wonder whether things really are going to change. Sarah's murder shocked the country. I think today people are shocked again. But if you've reported an indecent exposure, I don't think you will be surprised. So apologies if that answer sounds a bit jaded.
Lucy, thank you very much. Lucy Manning there.